He ruled the known world by 30. Another tore down the walls of Rome. One buried cities in blood. Another died on his wedding night. These were the most powerful conquerors in history, feared, unmatched, almost godlike. But in the end, death came for them all. This is how the world's greatest conquerors died. Alexander the Great. He never lost a single battle. In just 12 years, he carved an empire from Greece to India. Kings bowed to him. Pharaohs called him a god. But in Babylon, in 323 BC, Alexander fell suddenly ill. Fever burned through him for days. Some say it was typhoid. Others whisper it was poison. Revenge for 1,000 shattered kingdoms. He died in agony, unable to speak, at just 32 years old. The man who conquered the world couldn't conquer his own body. He left behind no heir, and his empire died with him. Genghis Khan. He rose from nothing. A boy on the Mongolian steppe became the terror of continents. His armies erased entire cities. His empire became the largest in history. But in 1227, while riding into battle in western China, Genghis Khan suffered a serious injury. Maybe a fall from his horse, maybe a wound from an enemy arrow. He died soon after. The exact cause? Still unknown. His death was so secret, his men killed everyone who saw his funeral procession. He left no grave, no marker, no monument. The man who built an empire from the bones of millions vanished into legend. Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself Emperor of France, crushed Europe under his heel. Even after exile, he returned and nearly took it all again. But in 1815, after his defeat at Waterloo, he was sent to die on a rock in the middle of the ocean, the island of St. Helena. Far from the battlefield, far from glory, Napoleon wasted away. Some say stomach cancer killed him. Others believe slow arsenic poisoning. The man who redrew the map of Europe died forgotten and alone. He once said, "Death is nothing, but to live defeated is to die every day." And that's exactly how he died, Julius Caesar. He crushed rebellions, crossed the Rubicon, and declared himself dictator for life. The Roman people loved him, but the senators feared him. On the Ides of March 44 BC, Caesar walked into the Senate. He never walked out. They stabbed him 23 times. Some wounds were shallow, but one pierced his heart. Among the killers was his closest friend, Brutus. The man who ended the Roman Republic was ended by those he trusted most. Even his last words were debated for centuries. Maybe it was "Et tu, Brute?" Or maybe he said nothing at all. Attila the Hun, the scourge of God, the nightmare of Rome. He raided Europe like fire through dry grass. No one could stop him. But on his wedding night in 453 AD, Attila drank heavily, celebrated hard, and died in his sleep. Blood poured from his nose, choking him to death. Historians still debate, was it an aneurysm, or was he murdered by his new bride? The man who terrified empires died in bed. Hernán Cortés. He brought the mighty Aztec Empire to its knees. He claimed gold, land, and glory for Spain. But power is a short flame. In his later years, Cortés fell out of favor. Disgraced, forgotten, denied positions of power. He died in 1547, not in battle, but of infection and disease back in Spain. The man who took an empire died bitter and ignored. Francisco Pizarro. He crushed the Inca Empire with just a few hundred men. He claimed Peru for Spain, but greed breeds enemies. In 1541, Pizarro was ambushed in his own palace, stabbed in the throat by fellow Spaniards. He collapsed, drew a cross in his own blood, and died. The man who turned betrayal into conquest was betrayed himself. Mehmed the Conqueror. At 21, he took Constantinople. He ended the Byzantine Empire. He dreamed of Rome, of total victory, of becoming Caesar. But in 1481, as he marched toward another war, Mehmed fell ill. Theories ranged from heart failure to poisoning by his own son. He died before he reached his goal. The man who shattered the walls of an empire couldn't escape the fate behind his own. They burned cities, toppled dynasties, bent the world to their will. But no matter how vast the empire, no matter how feared the name, every conqueror meets the same final enemy, and death always wins.